Well, we haven't lost since the last episode. We've had a really good January transfer window where I have brought in more players than I actually did during the summer. And with 34 games gone, we are still in the playoffs. What a way to cap off the big 5-0. Hey guys, and welcome to episode 50 of One Team, One Dream, Into the Woods. My name is James, and on today's episode, I will summarise the January transfer window, followed by at least one game where we will face second in the table Sunderland. But 50 episodes in, I have to ask, if you've been enjoying the series, please drop a like down below. If you aren't already, subscribe to the channel and turn your notifications on so you don't miss a single episode. But with so much news, let's crack on with what has happened since last episode. We take a look at the schedule. We have not lost since the last episode where we had back-to-back defeats against Milton Keynes and Leicester City in the FA Cup third round. We have in fact only conceded 4 goals since that last episode, with clean sheets against Burton, Oxford and Salford, wins against Lincoln and Blackpool, and then a 2-2 draw in there against Peterborough. This means that with 34 games gone, we are currently 6th in the table, 1 point above Huddersfield in 7th, but only 6 points off automatic promotion. Now, I'm definitely not looking above at this point. I'm just so happy the fact we are so far away from the predicted relegation that was expected to be brought upon us this season. And based on the stats, this seems to be born from our all or nothing attitude. We've only drawn 5 games this season, which, if we sort by games drawn, we are second for least games drawn in the table, just behind Huddersfield, who are just below us. But we have lost 12 games, which is more than anyone else above us. Coming into the January transfer window off the back of 5 defeats, I'm not going to lie, I had a bit of a panic. And I started to strip the team apart. Players went on the transfer list. I was clearing out who I felt was more fringe players to try and make room for players I could bring in. Managed to generate about £275,000 and cut off about £5,000 in the budget. All of that is now gone, but hopefully it's all players that are going to improve the side. So let's get into the summary of the January transfer window. Let's start with the outs. So right at the beginning of January, Alfie Lewis was the first to go. He'd been with us for 2.5 seasons, pretty much ever present in the side in both the National League and in League Two. But he fell out of favour, especially as we weren't playing an attacking midfielder. So Gillingham jumped in, fellow League One side, snapped him up for £72,000. Hopefully he doesn't come back to bite us in the backside later on down the line. Jordan McNeef was the next player to go. A player who'd only been with us for a season and a half, but hadn't really made a name for himself and trying to push himself into the side, playing only around 18 games in a season and a half he was with us. So he went on the transfer list. Forest Green came in for around £20,000 and he went as well. Next on the chopping block, this was a guy that you didn't even get to meet. I think I remember mentioning him on the last episode. This was one of the quickest purchase to sales that I have ever made in Football Manager. He was with us. He played 1 game. He got a 6.2. He got me on the wrong day. I transfer listed him straight away. He went to Sunderland for £140,000. I'm sure he will have a lovely time there. And there's a chance we'll actually meet him on today's episode. But hopefully based on his first match with us, he isn't too much of a threat. And then finally, Mark Stewart, who is a player who came in during the January transfer window, came in on a free from Amarga, I think that is, in the Northern Ireland Premier League. 1.5 star current ability, 4 star potential ability. I took a bit of a punt with him as he was free, 20 years old. Thought he might be a nice option, especially with finishing 16, bravery 18, and some good acceleration. I felt he might be a good option from the bench. So taking us into ins for the January transfer window, Mark Stewart was the first to come through the door. The second one, and the only player we spent a little bit of money on. This one I am not 100% sure about. He, like a lot of our players, he scouted better than when we actually brought him in, which I don't really understand because we, according to the graphs, we have one of the best scouting networks in League One. But he is a 24-year-old English centre-back. He can also play defensive midfielder as well. £85,000 from Reading. He played a few games with them last season. Didn't really rip up any trees. But I was determined to try and bring in a little bit more in terms of established players into the midfield, because I feel we have lots of 2.5 star current ability players who aren't really doing much at the moment. And ironically enough, this guy came in at 2.5 star current ability. Still has 4-star potential ability, but how much of that he'll fulfill, I'm not 100% sure. But he had some really nice attributes. First touch 15, long shot 16, passing and technique both 13 as well. More than likely he'll be a backup for the deep lying playmaker role. Then we have 3 loans. This was a little bit of roll the dice and see what comes in. Alex Osho is on loan for the rest of the season from Tottenham, 18-year-old Nigerian central midfielder, very similar to whom. He is a playmaker, so play both deep lying and advanced playmaker. Again, good attributes in those key areas. First touch 16, passing 16, technique 12. A little bit more aggressive than I'd probably like in that area, but the vision and flair definitely makes up for that. 2.5 star current ability, 5-star potential ability. It was exciting to see how he gets on. Next through the door was Bobby Wright, 19-year-old Scottish under-19 international. He is a natural striker. However, he has played for us in the inside forward role. Played 1 game and has already got a goal to his name and a 7.0 average rating for that match. 3-star current ability, 5-star potential ability. As good as anyone else we have to play out there at the moment, but without Adebiosu playing out on the right, and Taylor Crossdale and Fagan being our strikers, he jumps straight into being our first string inside forward on that left-hand side. And finally, Luis Fiorini. This one was a little bit of a last-minute panic. We had a full transfer agreed with this guy. He was going to come in permanently. I think it was around £150,000 overall. I think it was about 50 up front with 100 on instalments. 3-star current ability, 3.5-star potential ability, 22-year-old English central midfielder. However, even though we were well under our wage budget, for some reason, when it came to this player coming in, the board would not allow me to adjust some of the wage budget into transfer budget. I didn't realise we didn't have enough in the transfer budget to bring this guy in when he finally agreed a contract. So I cancelled it, tried to see if we could adjust it, because sometimes when there's contracts outstanding, they don't allow you to amend it. Still didn't allow me to amend it. So we have brought him in on loan for the rest of the season. I will possibly look to buy him in the summer, depending on how he gets on. But unfortunately, we're having to pay far more in wages than we were if we'd have brought him in. I think we were only paying about £2,000 a week. We're having to pay £3,200 per week till the end of the season. So hopefully this guy is going to be good enough. But he comes straight in into that deep-lying playmaker role. And with all that, we have now maxed out both our wage budget and transfer budget. I mean, whoops, we're actually almost £2,000 over our wage budget at this point. But if we get into the playoffs, hopefully the board won't care. Slightly worrying the fact that we have a committed spending of another almost £600 on top of that afterwards. But by looks of it, we are getting an slight increase in our wage budget next season, so hopefully some of that will get eaten up. Let's get into the match against Sunderland. And I've done a little bit of rotation to make sure that we can have the strongest team going into today's match. So we have Huddart in goal, a back four of Devine, Tricker, Kirk and Charles. Wiltshire is in central midfield as the box-to-box midfielder. Now, there should be Adebayo. However, Adebayo was resting in the last match. Wiltshire came in for the last match and put in a fantastic performance. So I had to give him an opportunity to at least start in this match against Sunderland. We have a debut for Fiorini in the deep-line playmaker role. Another debut for Bobby Wright on the left-hand side as the inside forward. Adebiosu as normal on the right. And Yeats and Taylor Crossdale up front, who combined with Ricky Fagan have a total of 55 goals, and it is only the end of January. Absolutely insane. I mean, Yeats has got 29 of those himself, 16 for Taylor Crossdale, and then another 10 for Fagan. I'm going to pump the fists. The media have given you a lot of credit lately, so go out there and put on a worthy display. I think we've got enough confidence in us at the moment to go out against Sunderland and get a good result. A good result will be a draw in this game, especially with a team like Sunderland being high-flying up in second place. But if we can hold them at bay and maybe even nick a win, it would be absolutely amazing. We have a first highlight on 35 minutes. Huddart with the goal kick. to Kirk. Big ball forward, trying to find one of the two up front. Fortunately, only finds the Sunderland players. They now look to come forward with Marriott, with Issa. 1-2 with Marriott. Great save by Huddart. Charles bizarrely goes back to Huddart, who manages to clear it. But Sunderland look to come forward again. Flynn with the ball, going back out wide to Issa. But Issa is being targeted by Devine. Devine does a brilliant tackle to Alabiosu. Can he bring the ball forward now? Go for our own attack. Goes past his man. He's taken out by the I presume the left back there. He's number 7, so he might be one of the central midfielders. But we don't get to see the free kick. But we do have another highlight with a throw in. Charles 1-2 from the throw in. Now running with the ball, chipping forward to find Taylor Crossdale, who's released him into the penalty area. There's only Yeats in the centre. He holds up the ball. He manages to draw the foul. We have a penalty. John Yeats to look for his 30th goal of the season to put us 1-0 up against second place Sunderland. He puts it to the right, but the goalkeeper, Bannon, guesses the right way and he saves it. It could have maybe been in the corner a little bit more, maybe a little bit more power, but the goalkeeper did make a good save. Devine with the corner, whipped into the centre. Sunderland managed to clear it. And that may be the turning point in this game on 38 minutes. Marriott is coming forward now for Sunderland. If they score from here, it could be absolutely devastating. Wiltshire with the tackle, but only as far as Issa. Whipped back in the centre. We managed to clear. Alabiosu, though, can we counter-attack? He is free in the centre. He has 2 men in front of him. He decides to go out wide. Is he going to try and put a cross in? He's in the penalty area. Is he looking to draw another foul? Surely we're not going to get another penalty. No, so that one was a legitimate tackle this time. Sunderland bring the ball forward. Cleared by Yeats. And then into central midfield, but that ends the highlight. And then we have a goal kick with Huddart just before half-time in the 44th minute. Chip forward, looking for Taylor Crossdale. Poor bring down by Taylor Crossdale. And Sunderland bring forward. Marriott goes easily past his man into the penalty area. Oh my God. I thought Huddart got to the hand it. I thought it was still going to trickle into the back of the net. He goes for the second dive, but luckily it goes wide of the post. Chilvers with the corner, Whitton to the centre. Flynn at the near post. And that was so straightforward. I mean, you have to say Sunderland deserve it with the run of play they've had in this first half. But Flynn just drops away from his marker at that near post. Disappointing to concede it so close to the front of the goal. And coming into half time, we were doing so well up to that point. Our XG is double what Sunderland's is in that first half, but they took one of their 4 opportunities, put it into the back of the net. It is only 1-0. We still can come back from this, but it's disappointing for it to be from a set piece. Well, it's been a while since we've had any technical issues on the channel, but unfortunately reared their ugly head again. OBS crashed during the second half of the Sunderland match, and I'm so annoyed because it was a fantastic game, but we'll get to see the goals now. We drew it back to 2-2 in the end after being 2-0 down. I think it was 66 minutes. It would have been 67 minutes that we went 2-0 down, but the boys turned it around, showed fantastic character. We made some changes and we brought it back. So let's watch the goals. As we know, first goal just before half-time, Flynn from the corner. Such an easy goal, and to be fair, so was the second. Chilvers with the ball to Issa, put through to Marriott. Marriott, who slots it past Huddart. It was disappointing because he had a fantastic game, Huddart. He'd be disappointed to concede 2 goals. But we made a few changes. Daly came on, and Yeats puts it through to Fioni, who moved to the box-to-box midfielder role and scored an absolute scorcher from range. And then finally, Fagan, who also came on as a substitute, Yeats whipped it in to his strike partner, who put it in for his 11th goal of the season to bring it 2-2. I almost feel I should rename Yeats Dodger, because between him and Fagan, we absolutely stole that point against Sunderland. Yes, based on the stats, we probably we deserved a point, but based on the run of play, we were 2-0 down. We looked dead and buried. I even remember saying, I mean, it was now into the void, but I remember saying when the second goal went in, that was game, set and match. That felt like it was the end of it. We felt we couldn't come back from that, but the boys did. So proud of them. Absolutely fantastic. We do, though, drop out of the playoffs temporarily, down to 7th place, only 1 point behind Huddersfield, and it is only Walsall and Southend that now have games in hand on us, but Southend need to win their game in hand as they are now 2 points behind us in the league. So frustrating that game was marred by technical issues, but at least we got to see the goals, and we are still unbeaten since the beginning of January. And if you enjoyed that, please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit the bell icon to be notified of the brand new episodes as we have the run-in to the end of the season as we look to push for possible back-to-back promotions. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.